I do that too?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So good morning, everyone. It has been some time since we've done an online event, and this is the Indo-Indians Wellness Wednesday. We plan to have a Wellness Wednesday every month on the third Wednesday of every month. So this is our very first one, and welcome. I'm Poonam Sagar. I'll be your facilitator in the event today. And I'll request all the people joining in to please mute themselves. So Indo-Indians online wellness events will be held every month on the third Wednesday with experts from within the community to enhance holistic well-being. These sessions will be diverse in approach as every aspect of life influences our state of well-being and will cover topics that support our emotional, spiritual, mental health, and many more. These events are planned to be interactive, so we kindly request all our attendees to have their cameras switched on if it's okay with you. And when we have time for Q&A, to be able to ask questions of the experts that will be there. These events will also be recorded and streamed live on Indo-Indians YouTube channel, Facebook, and we are trying to stream them live on our Instagram as well. So without much further ado, I'd like to introduce our speakers, our experts today. We are very thankful to both of them. The first one is Geeta Seth, who is a qualified nutritionist and dietitian for over 15 years, a 2-time gold medalist in the field of nutrition. She's also a qualified diabetes educator and a specialist. She claims to have a normal blood glucose in diabetes with the right diet to avoid diabetes and any complications. So Geeta has also worked for various health institutions and hospitals, and till date, she does not have a single failure in terms of patients. As a speaker, she has given nutritional services to various corporate institutes and schools. So welcome, Geeta.
Thank you so much.
So that's Geeta, a dietitian. And it'll be amiss of me to not introduce our second expert who has joined us from Bali. She's at the Ayurveda Gram in Bali, Dr. Natasha Lal, a highly sought after Ayurvedic physician from Kerala, India. Dr. Natasha holds years of experience and expertise in the practice of Ayurveda. She is currently, as I mentioned, at Ayurveda Gram in Bali. Today, Dr. Natasha has holistically healed hundreds of people from around the globe. Every day, she is driven by her firm conviction to heal the world with authentic Ayurveda. So thank you to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'd like to first just start with Geeta. Geeta, I'd like, because you're a nutritionist and a dietitian, and I have some guiding topics, as I mentioned to you earlier. So maybe we could start with, mindfulness and eating and how that affects the way we eat and how that is useful to our health. So Geeta, if you could expand on that.
Thank you, Poonam. Thank you for having me today. Yes, mindful eating is a very, very important aspect in the diet today. So if I talk about mindful eating means simply, now you tell me, when you have a simple dal, how do you enhance it? Yes, what that time matters to you, that the smell and the taste. So you definitely want to add lemon, you want to add green coriander leaves. That is mindful eating when you are eating a dal. For example, when you eat an omelette, the smell of the onion getting fried is very, very important at that time. It enhances your feeling of eating. So the salivary glands, they are better, they secrete better saliva, which, as we know, that the carbohydrate itself starts digesting from the mouth itself. That is called mindful eating. Today, if you give me a dal without coriander leaves, I will not enjoy it. I'll just eat it. That is called mindful eating. And when you are not paying attention to your diet, what you're eating, then you can binge eating. And that binge eating, first 2, 3, 4 times, you will feel the taste. Oh, I'm having chips or I'm having ice cream. After that, you just become mechanical in eating. You keep on eating, and you don't even realize that you have gulped maybe 3, 4, 5, 600 calories. So that is called when we are, when we are emotionally upset. As you've seen with yourself, and in movies also, it is shown how people eat when they are so stressed, when they are so tense. That kind of eating is extremely harmful because you don't realize how many calories you're eating, and you don't actually get the taste. It becomes a habit, just eat, because you're thinking elsewhere. That's why they say when you eat, you should pay attention to what you're eating. When the plate comes, I would love to see the colors. Okay, I have this red color capsicum and I have the yellow color, or if I have the greens in my that, I look at them, and when I look at mushrooms, I remember, oh, now they are full of antioxidants. They are going to keep me good. This way, I want to add my own, own spice level, whatever I want. I would like to add olive oil. I would like to add some vinegar, whatever suits me. That is called mindful eating. When you start thinking of the food and when you eat it, it makes a very big difference. A small katori of rice and any lentil can give you fullness compared to the 2 or 3 boxes of your ice cream, or the tubs of ice cream, or the chips or whatever you're eating. And look at the difference of the calorie, look at the difference of the fat, look at the difference of the sweetness. So when you eat mindfully, it makes a world of difference. You enhance your salivary glands, you enhance your digestive juices in the stomach, and that way you can start eating well and eat less. So the difference is this: you should always take care what you're eating. Ideally, when you're eating, don't do anything else. Don't even see a TV, don't even see your phone, because they are going to change your emotions, and your emotional level can change the way you eat. It's very, very
Right.
important.
I think that's a very important point, all about not watching another device or TV or your mobile phone when you're eating.
Because you get emotionally turned out to different things instead of
Yeah.
eating.
So only when you are paying 100% attention to what you're eating, you will
We
notice.
can very easily do that 20 minutes a day, 2 times a day. We can very easily do that we can take care of what we are eating. So the other day I told my cook to cook the omelette. Before she cooks the omelette in the oil, I told her to put the onion. So the smell of the onion, is so nice in the butter that it enhances your hunger.
Right.
After that, she has started making it this way. And believe me, the way I eat the omelette has made a big difference to me. That is called mindful eating.
Correct. Geeta, talking about mindful eating, but there are also some many myths and misconceptions about nutrition. Such
Yes.
as that carbs are bad for you, all fat is unhealthy. What is your view on this?
Okay. So, I have just taken out some points like they say that less fat is better to eat. May I know why? Every cell in our body is made up of cell membrane, and the cell membrane is only made up of fats. So the moment you start eating less fats, that means your cell membrane is not going to be as thick and good. That means any bacteria or any virus can easily come inside the cell and create a problem. So to have a strong cell membrane, we need cholesterol. And people think, oh no, cholesterol or lipids. As you know, the myth goes on: the more the cholesterol, and the less healthier your heart is. It's not like that.
Okay.
So, amount of cholesterol is very, very important in our body, which we get through our foods, and some is made by the liver. So, let's not get into this myth that low fat or less fat is better. Another thing, there's a myth which says that vinegar or different kinds of and vinegars, and even the peppercorns or peppers, they burn fat. Tell me, how is it possible to burn fat without having lesser calories? There is no other way. There are all our marketing gimmicks. When you say that this will burn fat, this will burn fat, the vinegar or this, it doesn't do that. In fact, the vinegars, they create acidity, and with people who have acidity commonly, their body goes into a havoc. So don't believe in these things which they say that this thing burns fat, this thing burns fat. Nothing burns your fat, except that when you're eating correct and you're exercising also. These are the only ways. So they say that don't eat after 7 p.m. What do you mean? So before 7 p.m. you can eat 2, 3, 4, 5,000 calories, and then you still expect yourself to be. No, after 7 p.m. you should not eat heavy foods because the digestive system takes 2 or 3 hours to digest your meal, especially the dinner. So why we say that you should have dinner by 7 or maximum 7:30, so that your digestive system is at rest while there is time for sleep, maybe 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, you start feeling sleepy. But if you had your dinner at 9, 9:30, which is a very common practice, so that means 2, 2.5 hours your digestive system is going to be busy. So where will the sleep come from? Then they say that, oh, we need sleeping pills, because you don't realize that you're not giving rest to the body. The idea is to rest your body and let it only prepare itself for sleep, which we don't do at all. Then again, they say that avoid carbohydrates for weight gain and weight loss, less carbs are enough. So when these small children come to us and their mothers, especially in Indonesia, their mother tells that, okay, I want vitamin, minerals, this, that supplement for the body of my child who's 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. But where are the carbs? Now the carbs are absolutely required for energy, for growth. If suppose you give your child or an adult also all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the supplements, but you don't give enough carb, then you can't grow, your body cannot grow in every which way. So that is a wrong concept that you're avoiding carbs for weight loss. And again, that they say that full fat is not important, otherwise it makes you gain weight. I'll give you a simple example of milk. When you get full fat milk, you have that milk has some vitamins which are oil soluble. So that means when the fat is removed from the milk, the oil soluble vitamins are also removed. So what happens to the milk? It remains like a white water. And then they are written that it is vitamin D fortified, calcium fortified. How much calcium and how much vitamin D is there? We don't know, because now it is in the hand of manufacturer to create that milk. So best is to have full fat milk, have it in less amount. I'm not telling you to drink glasses and glasses whole day, but if you take a cup in the morning, a cup in the evening, if you don't take milk, you can take curd, you can take paneer, you can take the cottage cheese, whatever you want, but it should be full fat. Then only the vitamins of milk are going to get digested.
Yeah,
Another thing
thanks,
which
Geeta.
is
I
very
think that's a very good point that you have raised about fat soluble vitamins and how to have all the food in the right moderation so that you get all the nutrients required. Now, following this, Geeta, I'd also like to move to Dr. Natasha and talk to her about her views on nutrition.
sure.
Thank you. Hello, Dr. Natasha.
Hello, Poonam. Hello.
Yeah. So, Dr. Natasha, thank you for joining us. And as I mentioned, you are an Ayurvedic doctor, and I would like to invite you to tell us all about nutrition and Ayurveda, about the Ayurvedic principles of nutrition, diet, etc. So, if you could just expand on that.
Right, sure. First of all, thank you for having me. And interestingly, so many points Seth has mentioned. It is beautifully mentioned in Ayurveda too. Now, now with Ayurveda, the concept of ahara or food is very elaborately and beautifully mentioned. How to take a meal, what are the things should included in a meal, what is the right time to eat, what is the right quantity to be eaten, what are the things you should be doing as an activity after a meal. So these kind of things are very elaborately mentioned in the classics of Ayurveda. Now, first of all, very similar like Ms. Seth mentioned, when it comes to food, it is there are beautiful explanations which explains that how you should be start eating. Now, your digestion begins the moment you think about the food, actually. When it is closer to your meal time and you started to feel hungry, that is actually your stomach getting enough signal saying that, we are ready, let's go, proceed eating. And when the moment the food comes in front of you, when a plate has an ideal quantity of food comes in front of you, the colors should be appealing. The vision of that triggers the memory of how tasty it was the last time when you had it. The aroma of the food gives you an information saying that how delicious the meal will be. and the food has to be taken in absolute silence. So in Ayurveda, it is mentioned that eating food is very much equivalent to praying, actually. It is exactly like how you pray. Now, when you pray, you have your full concentration and focus on it, and you have your honest, your honest thoughts are when you are you're with when your honest thoughts are with you when you are praying. It is very similar like that, actually. Have your food in silence, chew your food properly, take a good 20 minutes to eat your meal. Now, when it comes to the quantity of the meal, quantity of the food to be taken, considering your stomach as 100%, the quantity of food should be ideally 50. The quantity of water should be ideally 25, and the rest of the 25 is air. So a half stomach or a little bit over half stomach is the ideal quantity when it comes to ahara, according to Ayurveda. So when you take a good 20 minutes to chew your food properly and have only maybe a half glass of warm water or a lukewarm water or herb infused water, according to your taste and according to your health, when you have it along with it, it is considered as easier for digestion, light for digestion, and it is something supposed to be giving you ultimate health. Now, the kind of foods to be taken. Ayurveda explains to have shadrasya yukta bhakshanam, shadrasya yukta aharam, which means something that has ideally all 6 tastes. That is considered as a balance for a good meal. And then the mentioning of like I heard Poonam discussing that with Seth, that what are the things to be avoided, or what are the things not to be taken, or what are the couple of myths which are discussed. Now, Ayurveda explains if you're allergic or sensitive to something, yes, then you may avoid it. Other than that, Ayurveda honestly doesn't really mention about avoiding anything for that matter, starting with fat to green leafy vegetables to mixed diets to all those items concerned. Now, the main principle is that adi sarvatra varjayet, which means anything in excess to be avoided. Having put in moderation, eating a healthy diet is the key to good health. Now, coming towards the timing of the food, it is always ideal to eat only when you are hungry rather than following the general timelines. And of course, now all of us are busy. So many of us are working too. For those people who do not really necessarily feel hungry but cannot have the luxury of buying that time and wait for the next time when they are feeling hungry, they can have a little bit of something, maybe a little bit of like a good salad or some nuts or maybe some coconut water or something like that to fill up the gaps so that for the next meal they will be properly hungry. There is mentioning of how to have your meal portions too. Now, I always recommend to have a healthy, good, full meal for the breakfast, considering that is your first meal of the day and that is the meal which is supposed to be giving you good energy, and to have a medium lunch and have a lean dinner. Now, towards the dinner time, ideally it should be eaten a good 2.5, 3 hours before your bedtime. Right, at 2.5 to 3 hours before the bedtime, so that your digestion process does not really bother your sleep patterns. And the 2.5 to 3 hours, you'll be moving around, you'll be doing at least a little bit chores, so that the digestion process gets easier and help you when it comes to the bedtime. The stomach doesn't feel very, very heavy.
Right. So I think these are all and they are very complementary to what Geeta also shared, that we all need to be in the same place together. And so it's a holistically health, where Geeta spoke about mindfulness, you spoke about the timing and how much to eat, and not, limiting yourself to only, like what Geeta said, fat-free milk or not having carbs or things like that. So there is nothing that needs to be taken out of your diet. Rather, you should be aware of how much you're eating. One thing that you said, which was very interesting, was amount to eat. And you said if your stomach is 100%, your food should be only 50%. And 20% should be water. Now, I have a question about that. Some people talk about drinking water only after 2 hours after a meal or an hour after the meal. What is your view on that?
Now, if you would like to say, there are people who are generally very thin built to medium built. who would like to who have a greater metabolism, who would like to have a little bit more quantity, or they could accommodate more quantity, and they do not have a difficulty in digesting those quantity. Those kind of people ideally can have 1 or 2 hours after the meal. Now, the best way to have water along with the meal is that half a glass, if you're looking at 150 ml of glass, half a glass, ideally lukewarm or warm water. Now, if you're a person who would like to have an herb-infused water, say there is a cumin water is very helpful for digestion. Ginger waters are generally helpful for digestion. Again, it depends on you do not have a sensitivity towards it. You do not have an acid tendency, etc. towards it. A diluted herb-infused water, half a glass warm water, along with the meals having in sips will be helpful.
Yeah. So Geeta, there was one thing that I think I forgot to ask you was about sugar. We spoke about all the other things, but what about sugar? Is sugar a toxic substance? I think you're on mute. Sorry, Geeta.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to ask you, Poonam, do you know how much an American has everyday sugar? Do you know that? 24 to 26 teaspoons.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, because they don't realize it is in their breads, it is in their burgers, it is in their sauces, it is in their sodas, it is in their drinks. Now, this kind of sugar is absolutely detrimental to your health. We say that, okay, 2 teaspoons of sugar is good enough for a day, but ideally there is no fixed routine. You know why? Because a person who's physically, maybe he's a worker, he requires more energy. So he can have 4 to 6 to 7 teaspoons a day in the form of his drink, his tea, his coffee, his beverage, whatever he wants, because he requires energy. Why we say 2 teaspoons per person per day is because we live a sedentary lifestyle in general. In general, what we do is only we get up to exercise 30 minutes a day, and that too we oblige ourselves. So tell me, where will the extra sugar go if you want to have your desserts or even your breads and sauces? Everything has sugar ideally. If you see the labels, one kind of sugar is always present in every food which is packed. So, number one, how about avoiding packaging foods? Because not only sugar, it has other things also which are not great for health. So, another myth for sugar is that my clients, they come to me and they say, no, no, we take jaggery in our tea, we take honey in our lemon. So, whether it is lemon, it is honey, it is coconut sugar, it is brown sugar, or it is white bleached sugar. Sugar is sugar. One
Right.
teaspoon has 20 calories, and it is going to raise your blood sugar every which way it has to. So remember one thing. Yes, I would say that jaggery has little iron. So that doesn't make it less sugary. It is equally sugar. So about sugar, yes, sugar creates inflammation in the body, and it is perfect food for carcinogens. That means the cancer cells. Everybody has cancer cells in their body. It is how you feed it. The more you feed it, the more you have chances of that problem. So the best idea is see how energetic you are physically, how much consumption you need, because how much energy you have. If you have a sedentary lifestyle, 3 teaspoons or maximum 4 teaspoons of sugar is perfect a day. And don't go overboard, because when the inflammation comes in the body, then you have a headache, it goes worse. You have little, maybe you have little temperature, it goes worse. You have aches and pains, it goes worse when you are high on sugar.
Right.
The negative of sugar is this.
Yeah. So I have some people online. If they would like to ask a question, we are now open for question and answers. Yes, Siddhisha, do you have a? Please unmute yourself and you can ask your question. Yes.
I have a question to Dr. Natasha for dryness in eyes. Any treatment for dryness in eyes in Ayurveda? Because nowadays I am suffering from so much.
Yeah, I appreciate your question, and I think it's a valid question, and maybe you can ask, maybe Dr. Natasha can type the answer in the chat, because this session is basically on nutrition and wellness. That's perfectly fine. But Natasha, maybe you could type it in the chat box, or you could just speak it aloud so that because she's raised the question and we can just answer that.
Right. So, Ms. Dev, dryness in the eyes can be due to various reasons. Now, the cause is important one. Now, there is a term called digital detox when it comes to the eyes too. So, if you're a person who uses electronic gadgets or any gadgets that emits blue lights, kindly reduce the usage of it to begin with. And I hope your vitamin D, B12 levels and the thyroid levels, everything is well and good. And if you're also a woman who is in the menopausal age or had a hysterectomy or anything of that sort, that can also be a matter. Now, Ayurveda mentioned two things. One, it's not Ayurveda, but generally it is used as the lubricant eye drops. Those are quite helpful. Now, in Ayurveda, there is a mentioning of Triphala water. Tripalas are three fruits, basically. You can get the powder form of it. Making a decoction out of it in thinnest consistency and washing your eyes twice daily will help to manage it to an extent. However, the underlying cause has to be attended to.
Yeah, thank you. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Natasha, when we talk about nutrition, and like Geeta said, that everything has to be at the right time, what is your view of this thing about sugar? What is your view on sugar from the Ayurvedic point of view?
Sugar or madhuram is sweet. Okay, madhura rasayukta bhakshanam, which means foods which are sweet in nature, is guru for digestion, which means heavy for digestion. Anything which is heavy for digestion, anything which can add on to an excessiveness to the system. Say, Ayurveda mentioned that anything which is guru is responsible for medo vriddhi and kapha vriddhi, which means an increase of fat or an increase of weight or an increase of bulk or excess of nutrition, if you look at that way. When it comes to the sweet part of it. So as like I said, it can be on moderation. I would prefer anyone having unprocessed or in natural form of sugars rather than the processed categories.
Right.
Now, this madhuram or sweet in the natural form basically comes with fruits. Now, the people who generally do not have a problem in having all the varieties of fruits, they could use it. Ideally, anything which is uncooked can come in the daytime rather than at night. People who are diabetic or have allergies towards any particular fruits, etc., can choose the foods which are having lesser sweetness in it so that it doesn't play around with their levels. Those are some of the things which can be mentioned.
Right. So, Geeta, would you like to ask a question of Dr. Natasha? As far as nutrition is concerned.
She's already asking so well. So, Natasha, as you spoke about the dry eyes, what we were also told that, when you close your eyes and you keep some warm towel on it, and then after that you rotate them few times, that creates little watery environment. Is it true?
Yes. Seth, the idea there is that then you're actually stimulating your tear glands to give a bit more of a secretion.
Yes,
the point is that's right. These are the smaller tricks we could do throughout the day. However, I would not recommend pressing your eyes with anything warmer or hotter more than 2 times a day, because your eyes need not to be cooked or heated. As you know, they are super sensitive objects. Now, dryness of the eyes is widely present in so many people. Now, I am pointing my fingers towards the digital usage, what we are having, because even our hard copy books have moved to the Kindles now, as you all know. Yes. So I think that addressing the cause is the main way to look at it rather than the solutions. However, lubricating drops, of course, warming the eyes or pressing or massaging, even it's called a massaging your tear glands, lacrimal glands, that will be a good option. Washing with Triphala will be a good option.
Yeah, so Triphala is a good one. And in terms of I would also like Natasha to talk about Ayurveda Gram in Bali. Means, can that be some place? And I liked your term about digital detox also. And maybe we can expand on digital detox and as well as your Ayurveda Gram in Bali.
Ayurvedagram Bali is a 3.5 acre property. We are in Ubud. We are in partnership with Kerala Ayurveda, which is our parent company, and Ayurvedagram Bali is one of the flagship property of them. We are a team of 7 people came from India along with the Balinese team. We are a total of 30 plus staff who's doing the whole of the activities here. As Poonam has mentioned, I'm from India, Kerala. I've been practicing for almost 14 years now. I was working as a senior consultant before. The medical team in Bali has been heading by me. We have residential treatment. We are focusing more on residential treatments on metabolic illnesses or on diseases related to lifestyle, cancers, post-chemo, post-COVID long hauls, or detox treatments, mental wellness treatments, which is focusing on the mental wellness, musculoskeletal issues. Those are some of the areas which autoimmune illnesses, some of the areas which we are focusing on. Right. So we are having a combination of Ayurveda along with yoga and healthy food, sattvic food. These are the combinations of activities we do here.
Right. Thank you so much, Natasha, for introducing Ayurvedagram to us. Geeta, would you like to share a little bit of what you do in Jakarta for the benefit of our viewers?
Okay, so now I'm in Jakarta since last 13 years. And as you said, I'm in my field since last 15 years, 17 years. You know, it has now, the time has flown. So I try to treat every problem in the body, which is of course not operational, which is under me as a nutritionist. I try to deal with it with only and only the products which come from your kitchen, that is home food. We don't buy a single thing from outside because food is medicine, as you know. And I have done a deep study on food which have medicinal value. And we easily, you know, you'll be happy to know, Poonam, that people who are regularly going to the doctors for their gastrointestinal problems, for their diabetes, for their cholesterol, do not need at all after they have changed their diet. So I really feel good when I see them come out of all these problems only with the help of home food. Right. Only food and the right timings and the right combinations of food. So this is where I try my best, and by God's grace, we have succeeded everywhere, you know. It has never happened that we have given the home food and the person has not been helped. They are fully helped, and this way they keep the doctors and hospitals at bay. So right. I'm really happy to give this kind of food, and the results are very, very encouraging.
So I think we've all learned a lot from this session. Very short, brief. We only spoke about holistic health through nutrition. We spoke it from the Ayurveda point of view and from Geeta's point of view about being very mindful when eating. So mindfulness is not only about what we are doing at that moment in time, but also being intentional about it by going through this digital detox in a sense, by not watching TV, reading books, or doing other activities, so that we are fully focused on the meal that we are having, so that it provides the right nutrition to our body and allowing us to be healthy and well. So thank you to both of you for participating today. And I hope to see you again on a Wellness Wednesday. Thank you so much, Dr. Natasha. Thank you so much, Geeta, for being here.
Thank you, Poonam. Thank you.
Thank you.